Welcome dear students of Sheikh Vidya Mandir English High School and Junior College. Welcome back to our online teaching and learning. Students, have you heard of this very famous proverb by Swami Vivekananda? That is, service to man is service to God. Now, service itself means helping out. So, the main purpose of God, that the main thing what God wants from us is to create and sustain. Thus, those who sustain human beings, those who are in the service of man, are really in the service of God. That is, it is often said that worship of God can be done only through service of mankind. So, in short, if you help a person in need, you're automatically helping God. You're automatically pleasing God, or always you want to show your thankfulness, you can do it in a kind of service to others. Like in this image, you can see how people have been practicing the habit of helping each other since years. Our main purpose of life is to serve others. However, when you are doing so, you should not expect anything in return. Naturally, students, when you are helping out someone, you should always not wait for a return help from someone. It is only when you give, it should be like you're giving and not always think of taking it back. Service to others should be sincere. It's from your whole heart and done from the heart, only then it is fruitful. When you do service, it is very important that you don't wait in return of a service from somebody else. Let it be any kind of help, even donating to the needy, it should be done from within. So students, our today's topic is very closely related to service to others, that we shall see in the poem Somebody's Mother by Mary D'O'Brien, Standard 9th, Lesson 2.3. Before we begin, let us know about the poetess Mary D'O'Brien, as not much is known about her. Mary D'O'Brien was born in 1816 in New York, that is USA. She was an American poetess, author and a lyricist. She was a very well-known poetess as well as an author, a writer and even a lyricist. She is best known for the poem Somebody's Mother. A very famous poem of hers known to us is Somebody's Mother. Before we begin, let us know a quick theme of the poem. Somebody's Mother by Mary D'O'Brien is a beautiful poem depicting wonderful values of care and love for others. An old woman wearing ragged clothes was standing at a crossing to go to the other side of the road. She was waiting for the traffic to stop so that she could safely go to the other side. So students, let's get started with our poem, Somebody's Mother. The woman was old and ragged and grey, and bent with the chill of a winter's day. The streets were white with the recent snow, and the woman's feet with age were slow. Now, what's the first stanza talking about? The woman was old and ragged and grey. Ragged is wearing old and torn clothes. That is a worn-out clothes. Not okay old, but then very old. And grey means she was already old. That was she was already aged. So it was a winter evening, and old woman was waiting to cross a busy road near a school. How did you come to near a school? The streets were with the recent snow, and the women's feet with age were slow. She was very old, and her hair was grey, and she was very poor. She had worn torn clothes, was old and even aged. It was winter season, and the winter cold was so extreme to bear that the old woman was too much bent towards downward side. That the streets were white with the recent snow, too much of snowfall. Bent with the chill of the winter's days, the winter cold was so extreme to bear that the old woman was bent down. Moving to the next stanza. At the crowded crossing she waited long, jostled aside by the careless throng of human beings who passed her by, unheeding the glance of her anxious eyes. So at the crowded crossing she waited long. She was waiting long to cross the way. Jostled aside. Jostled is pushing in a crowd. There was too much of crowd and there was a lot of pushing here and there. So the woman was in the crowd and she was getting pushed everywhere. The careless people pushed her and to one side who was passing by her. Of human beings who passed her by. Just imagine the human beings were also ignoring her. The people who were walking on the road were ignoring. Unheeding the glance. Unheeding is what? Unnoticed. Glance is a look or a caring look. Of her anxious eyes. Anxious are worried look. Why is she worried? Because she is all confused how to cross the way. Because people are pushing and dashing each other. And she also was being pushed. No one noticed her. Her worried look was about she was worried about crossing the road. Next stanza we go. Down the street with laughter and shout, glad in the freedom of school let out, came happy boys like a flock of sheep, hailing the snow-piled white and deep. Past the women so old and grey, hastened the children on their way. So the next stanza, what it talks about. Down the street with laughter and shout. A group of students were coming with laughter and shout. Glad in the freedom. Glad is they were pleased or they were very happy. In the freedom of school let out. It means there was a nearby school over there in the picture where she was about to cross. Came happy boys like a flock of sheep. Came happy boys. The group of boys came, a huge group of boys came who were very happy. Like a flock of sheep. Now here you can see simile has direct comparison is made between the boys who are happy and the flock of sheep. How sheep come in a group all together, they come, isn't it, with the shepherd. Similarly, these boys also came in a huge group. Past the women so old and grey, they were passing by this women. Past is going ahead. Hasten the children on their way. Hasten is hurried or to be quick to do something. They were very much hurry. When the school is let out, even new students are very excited to go home. So you're pushing, dashing each other and running here and there to reach to your house. Similarly, here these boys were also very excited that the school left and the weather was also too good. The weather was so snowy that they were enjoying in the snowfall and the chilling cold. So from nearby the school boys left. Boys came out with happiness and shouting like the flock of sheep. By seeing this, the heap of snow out there, the boys enjoyed even more and shouted merrily. So moving to the next stanza. None offered a helping hand to her, so weak and timid, afraid to stir, lest the carriage wheels or the horse's feet should trample her down in the slippery street. Now what was the next fear she was having? None offered a helping hand to her. Offered is given, giving a helping hand to her. So weak and timid, she was weak, that is she was too weak to defend herself, that's to fight for herself. Or timid means she was very shy and scared, because now she's not powerful anymore because she's got old. So she's very shy, she's very scared from the people in the crowd. So weak and timid, afraid to stir is to move or to take a next step. Lest the carriage wheels, lest is for the fear that she's fearing for the carriage wheels are the horse riding wheels or the feet of the horse might stamp her, should trample is crush or walk over her or her legs, her down in the slippery street. The slippery street is why, because slippery means what? Difficult to stand because of the smooth and wet surface. So it was too slippery and she was very scared because it's already snowfall, there's too much of water. She was very scared because this horse carriage might even trample her, because she doesn't know and the horse rider might not know and she might get dashed. So she was very scared. So what happened exactly was, for long she waited for help, but no one bothered to help her. Even from those boys, no one gave her help to cross the road. She was so weak, timid and afraid to walk. She had a fear or a thought that the carriage wheels or the horse's feet perhaps would run over her and on that slippery road. She was very much nervous and very much scared. Moving forward to the next fifth stanza. At last came out of the merry troop the gayest boy of all the group. He paused beside her and whispered low, I'll help you cross if you wish to go. So at last came out of the merry troop. Merry troop is nothing but a very happy or a cheerful troop. The gayest boy, gayest is the happiest boy of all the group. He paused beside her, paused is took a stop or stopped over there, and whispered low, spoke softly to her. What did he speak to her was, I'll help you cross if you wish to go. If you wish to go to the other side of the road, I shall help you. So what happened exactly? After a lot of people came out, all the students came on the way and the crowded road was about to get over. Suddenly this group of boys, a very happy group of boys who believed in helping others, like how you boys help your friends or you girls help your group of friends when you are in trouble. When they are in trouble, you run to them to help them, right? Same way, these happy boys came and they were very helpful boys. So what happened exactly in the fifth stanza was, the old woman, still unable to understand what to do, whom to ask, at last came a group of happy boys from the school. From that entire group, the happiest boy stopped, the gayest boy that is, beside her and asked her if he can help her to cross the road if she wished to go. Naturally, when you ask if you want to give a help, you ask, "Can I help you? Do you need my help?" You ask a permission to help. That's a politeness which we all should have. And the best quality is the asking anyone if they need help. Like you should all ask your parents also, even when they are doing some work, do they need your help? Or can you help them in some way or the other? So that was the status over here where this boy was asking for help and asked for, "Do you need your help?" And the women had to reply. So what happened in the sixth stanza? Her aged hand on a strong young arm she placed, and so without hurt or harm he guided the trembling feet along, proud that his own were young and strong. Then back again to his friends he went, his young heart happy and well content. Now, as I told you, when your friends are in trouble, you go running to help your friends, and when you help, you are very happy, right? Right, now you come home and tell your parents, you tell your other friends, you tell your classes friends, everyone you tell that I helped my friend who was in trouble, and you narrate the entire story. That's because you're thinking you helped and the person became helpful to someone. So in the sixth stanza, what is happening? The aged hand on his strong young arm. The boy was very young, so his arms were very strong. So he's a little bigger boy. She placed, and so without hurt or harm. Without hurt or harm, again it's a tautology over here where hurt or harm are similar in meaning. Hurt also means to get some hurt, or harm is somebody has harmed you. That's again you've got a hurt. He guided the trembling feet along. Trembling is shivering. Since the lady was very old, she was shivering because she has got old with the age. Proud that his own were young and strong. He was very proud that he himself was very strong to help her out at that time. Then back again to his friends he went. Again he went back to his friends. Students, you can see here the sentences are not framed in proper order. So you also have inversion in these sentences, which we shall see later. Then back again to his friends he went, his young heart happy and well content. His heart was very happy because he helped elderly women he helped. When you help your friends, you tell your friends, other friends. But when you help an elderly person who was really in very much need, so you really feel very happy from the bottom of your heart. And I think you all must try helping your elderly parents, grandparents at home in some or the other way which you like or which you know you can do it. Isn't it, students? So his young heart happy and well content. Content is satisfied. He was very much satisfied that he helped women in crossing the road. So he was very proud. So sixth stanza, what we saw exactly, the old woman placed her aged hands on his strong arm. Since the boy came to give help, and the women also got convinced. And without hurting the old woman, he carefully guided the shivering feet, means the aged women, without any hurt or harm. He felt proud of himself, as he was proud that he was strong enough to help that old woman. It's naturally when you are wanting to give help, it doesn't mean that you have to help for the sake of helping, but you should be a fruitful thing for that person, right? So the boy returned to his friends after helping the old women, and he was very much happy. His heart was filled with happiness and satisfaction. So that's all for today, students. The remaining part of the poem we shall see in our next class. Thank you.